Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are planting this beautiful Royal Raindrops crabapple. I'm so excited to have this tree because I didn't plan on it. Erin and I went on a drive yesterday just to get away for a couple hours, to get away from projects for a minute, and we ended up at a garden center, as one does, and we were walking through their field of trees and we saw this multi-trunk crab and thought, we have to have this out here. I love the structure of multi-trunk trees so much. And I really want crab apples out here. I left some spaces specifically for crab apples because of how much they give to the garden. They're not typically like the best for shade trees, like getting huge. Not a lot of varieties get massive. Like this one grows 20 feet tall by 15 feet wide. So it's still a good sized tree, but more of an accent tree. And I want something that will bloom in the spring, be beautiful, beautiful leaf color in the summer, and then provide some winter interest with their beautiful little red crab apples here. I do have a Royal Raindrops in another area closer up to the house. It's a single trunk and it's done so well for us. I think this is going to be a really good addition out here. I actually did a little bit of research about this specific variety of tree because I always like to know, where they originated from, who the breeder is, and all that sort of stuff. And I found out that it was bred here in Oregon at a company called J.F. Schmidt Co. And it's a company that I think they are huge. Like they ship to the whole United States. And my parents have been ordering trees from that grower for so many years. But the breeder's name is Keith Warren. And it turns out he is also responsible for breeding the Red Point Maple, which is another one of my favorite trees. For those of you guys who've been watching our videos for long, I talk about them all the time. I think we've got 11 or 12 here in our own garden. My parents' driveway is lined with them. So I just found that kind of interesting. He's also got, the breeder also has a book out. It's like the tree guide or the tree book. I don't know. Erin actually ordered it. It's about superior tree selections and things like that. Maybe we'll link it down below. I don't really know anything about it because we haven't read it yet, but I think it'll be really fascinating to see what he has to say. Anyway, back to the Royal Raindrops. This one is a zone 4 through 8, so incredibly winter hardy. And everything that I have read about this tree says it tends to favor slightly acidic soil, like most things that we plant, but it's very adaptable to most soils. And I find that this one is. We've been planting it here for a long time. This specific variety, I don't think I mentioned, has been around for 18 or so years. So it's been thoroughly tested in our area and does really well in a high pH situation. And once they're established, they're fairly drought tolerant. The crab apples, I know a huge concern about having trees with fruit is if they make a mess. Now these don't make a mess, surprisingly. They have what's called persistent fruit, which means the fruit hang on until new growth pushes them out in the spring, but the birds usually clean them up. They're a great source of food for wildlife, for birds in the wintertime, and they look pretty and it feels good to provide some forage for wildlife like that. So not only does it have the winter interest with the berries, and then of course, take a look at these leaves up close. This is the kind of interest during the summer. And then, we are in October now, so it's just starting to turn, but it's the deep red in the summer, and then it kind of gets bronzy orange purpley in the fall. But in the spring, it provides a huge show of like magenta pink blooms. I think it's gonna be awesome because I do have some forest pansy redbuds, which will be kind of a pinky purple bloom. And I just wanna keep on adding more trees that have color in the spring. And this one is also related to the golden raindrops. So Royal Raindrops has the pink blooms, red fruit. Golden Raindrops, which I want one of, has white blooms with yellow fruit. It's beautiful. So here is where I'm thinking about planting it. We've got a blue spruce right here. We've got Corinthian linden with green leaves here. And then right in front of me, there is an autumn blaze maple. So right in this kind of circle area that these 3 trees have provided, I think it's going to be perfect right about in here to kind of bridge the gap. This one doesn't get enormously wide. The Corinthian only gets 15 feet wide, so it'll only come out about 7.5 feet from the trunk. Same with this one here. And then the autumn blaze maple is quite a large tree, but I think if we put the crab here, it'll be just wonderful. And it'll provide some really good contrast. And it's right at kind of our entry area. So in the spring especially, we'll have this big, beautiful show of color right when people come in our driveway. I do need to go gather up some stuff to plant it though. We're gonna grab, it's quite a large root ball here. In fact, you should have seen it. So I wasn't planning on buying a tree when we left yesterday. And so when we got home, I knew we had this big pile of wood chips we haven't spread yet. We're gonna spread that probably in this area. So we brought it over here and kind of mounted some wood chips around it and watered it in really well. But I got to go grab the auger and some biotone and some land and sea compost, and then we'll get to work. Okay, got our amendments here. Now auger. I think we're gonna use the 7-inch auger this time instead of the 9, because we don't have the 9-inch auger that has that heavy-duty drill bit or digging, heavy-duty digger. What's it called? Heavy-duty tip. So I think we're gonna use the 7-inch one this time and just dig a bunch of holes all in the same area. So I'm gonna grab the auger. I'll bring the 9-inch one too, just in case, and then a couple shovels as well. Gotta have a couple batteries and a couple shovels. Here we go. Oh no, we need bolt cutters. This tree is in a wire basket, so we need cutters to get the string off of it and the wire cutters as well. I'd be in. There we go. Now we're good to go. This tree is perfect right here. Doesn't it look so good in between the blue spruce and the linden? I mean, I know from every angle it always looks a little bit different, but about where Erin's standing right now, it's just like, it was the piece that I needed here. I was actually looking out of our window this morning and it was sitting out here unplanted, but I could see the light picking up on the red leaves and it just glowed. And I just thought, oh, I'm so happy with this tree. It's so pretty. Now you might have noticed I did plant it a bit high, and the reason for that is, well, it's always better to plant a touch high than it is to plant your things too low. But when we get rain, when that happens, it tends to settle right here in this area and then over in one area of our grass. And so we thought if we plant this thing a little high so that if that happens, the water can run away from the crown or the trunk of the plant, it'll be better for the tree in the end. And so that's the reason we did that. I did toss some Biotone starter fertilizer in, a bag of Land and Sea, and then I'm not sure I talked about the pine, well, this is pine in particular, but we've got kind of a mix of wood chips over here. We asked our tree service if they wouldn't mind dropping their, like if they were taking a healthy tree down, if they wouldn't mind dropping the chips here, and I think they were more than happy to do that. So they just come every once in a while and give us a pile, and we've been using it out here to top dress. And it's been wonderful. It helps with weed suppression. It helps keep moisture in the soil. I'm also encouraged because I'm noticing it's like starting to mat already. Look at this. Like there are a lot of leaves and stuff in here too. It's not just wood. So I feel like it's going to break down fairly quick even though we're so dry, and it will start enriching the soil, because the worry when you use fresh wood chips in particular is that during their composting or breakdown process, if they're on top of the soil, you've got a lot of carbon. It's carbon rich. So as they break down, they're going to steal nitrogen from the soil in order to finish their composting process. But we're really talking at a surface level. It's not like it's going to reach way down in and steal all the nitrogen. And if you make it a consistent habit to fertilize your plants, which we do, and add nitrogen back in, then we shouldn't have any problem whatsoever. And the fact that they're free is wonderful because we have quite a space to cover. You know, we did spread compost in the other corner, but it's just going to be a slower go because it's really expensive to get compost as a top dress, and I think that's a great thing too. But this was a massive area, and we thought if we could do this for free, that would be great. The one other thing I wanted to show you, this pile right here, we've had quite a few questions about what this is. This has kind of been our dumping pile for different projects over the last couple of months. Like you can see here, all the sod that from when I did the grass pathways and I cut in the flower beds. There's just random dirt and gravel and stuff like that. Chad's coming here pretty soon to just take all of this away, and then we can finish spreading the wood chips over here. Also, I did want to talk a little bit about my planting method, because I know I have talked about how this area is just kind of free reign. You can do whatever you want, which is true. I have no master plan, but there is a little bit of a method when I come in here and decide what I want to put in next. I always look for 4 different colors in a landscape. I've talked about it before. It's what my mom taught me when she was kind of teaching me how to put together a landscape. Green, blue, red, yellow. Look for those 4 colors in every space, and usually if you have all 4, it kind of comes together and it looks like a beautiful space with a lot of different contrast. And that's the thing, I think contrast is so important, whether or not you're going for those 4 colors, or even if you're going for a monochromatic look, like a all green on green gardens, which can be absolutely gorgeous. Working on textural contrast versus maybe color contrast, as long as you have contrast in some way, you'll have a very interesting space. So I knew when I came in to choose what was going in here that I had something blue here, green here. I can see the yellow in the sumacs back there. I thought, you know what, I need something red here to kind of break it up. And sure enough, you pop something red in and it just ties the whole thing together and looks awesome. So when I come out here, there is a bit of a method. If I have a plant, I can look around and say, okay, well, I've got blue and green there. I know I needed something yellow, so I'll pop something yellow next. And so that's how I go about it. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure enjoy having this tree, especially because I didn't plan on it. It was kind of one of those things that, you know, I saw it. I really, really thought it would look beautiful here, and then here it is. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.